And tonight we're following a number of new leads in the Texas church shooting, but we want to start by taking a moment to recognize some of the lives that were lost. 26 people killed, 20 more wounded, 10 still in critical condition tonight after that gunman opened fire inside a church in Sutherland Springs, Texas. The youngest victim just 18 months old. This tragedy, too much to take, with the pastor's 14-year-old daughter and 8 members of a single extended family gunned down, 3 generations lost in just seconds.
They were a family like no other because Brian and Carla would give you the shirt off their back if you needed it. They were always helping people.
So many hearts broken tonight. We're also learning more about the hero that heard the gunfire inside the church and came running with his own rifle. He's a former NRA instructor, Stephen Williford. He's being credited with saving so many lives after chasing off the gunman, shooting him twice in the leg and torso. And tonight, we're all asking the same question we always ask in these cases. Could this have been prevented? The answer to this one, yes. The shooter was convicted of domestic violence back in 2014. He served a year in military prison and was discharged from the Air Force. He was not supposed to be able to legally purchase a firearm, but he did. And the reason he did will get you as angry as I am right now. The Air Force made a huge mistake. They did not follow their simple policy of alerting federal law enforcement about his convictions. As a result, he passed a background check. We don't need a new law to prevent this. We just needed some simple competence from our federal government. Is that really too much to ask? So, another question. Were there any other warning signs here that could have prevented this tragedy in this tight-knit community? Ron Jones finds out what red flags can be possible predictors.
Law enforcement professionals on the training website policeone.com say there are 6 traits that lead to criminal behavior. First, antisocial values, where the person believes one's violent criminal behavior is justified. They show little remorse and are quick to blame others. Criminal peers, they feel comfortable around people committing crimes. Antisocial personality, these are traits often seen in teenagers, such as fighting, hurting animals, or damaging property. Dysfunctional family. One of the most common traits includes a lack of family emotional support, low self-control, very impulsive and difficult to control their anger, and substance abuse and the inability to stop using.
A person who is isolated, who's to himself, and who's a danger.
Dr. Johanse Murray, a psychotherapist at Morehouse College, says family, friends, and coworkers should not ignore these traits and get the person help before it's too late.
What it's also important to do is try to identify where their pain is, and in that way try to help them.
But if they refuse help and are making threats?
And when he becomes threatening, there should have been some way for law enforcement to intervene immediately.
All right, Ron, let's talk about this gunman. Now, he fell into at least 2 of those categories that you outlined for us.
Yeah, that's right. We learned tonight that he fell into 2 of those categories. We know that there were signs of a dysfunctional family. We talked about that in our story with the domestic abuse charges. But investigators also are revealing that he had sent his mother-in-law some threatening messages. And they also confirm he was arrested for animal cruelty in Colorado in 2014, but he was given probation.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. To identify these things, you have to be looking for them, first of all, right?
Yes.
And then you got to think, is it enough to do something about it?
To call law enforcement or maybe try to get a therapist or a counselor for the person before they act.
All right, Ron, thanks so much. Appreciate that angle to the story.